So suppose we have the following equation: x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 12y minus 4 is equal to 0. You're asked to do three things here. First thing is to write the equation of the circle in standard form. Then you're going to identify the center and radius. And then you're going to make a quick sketch. Okay. So if you have an equation of circle in the general form and you want to write it in the standard form, the method that you use is completing the square. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take the given equation. I'm going to rewrite it, and I'm going to show you step by step on how I personally complete the square. Okay. So the given equation was again defined as x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 12y minus 4 is equal to 0. First thing that you should do is always move the constant term to the other side of the equation. So what is my constant term? -4. So if I want to move -4 to the other side of the equation, mathematically, what should I do to both sides? You add 4 to both sides. So if I add 4 to both sides, you get x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 12y is equal to 4. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to somehow group the variable x terms together with, together, and then you're going to group the y terms together. So it's just a little bit of a rearrangement to the left-hand side of my equation. I want the x terms together and the y terms together. So therefore, the y squared and the -6x, I'm just going to swap their positions. Okay, I'm just going to swap it. If I swap it, we have x squared minus 6x plus y squared minus 12y is equal to 4. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite that left-hand side of the equation with using parentheses. And then I'm going to leave some gaps inside of my parentheses. Observe. We have x squared minus 6x that will go inside the parentheses. And then I'm going to put plus blank, close parentheses, then plus y squared minus 12y plus, again, another blank, close parentheses, equals to 4. So now the question is, what goes inside of those blanks? To go into what goes inside those blanks is half the value of b, when in each side of the parentheses, squared, right? So I'll write it out. So to fill the blanks, right, to fill out this piece and this piece, we essentially use this formula, b over 2 squared. So let's look at the first set of parentheses. If I have x squared minus 6x, what do you think is the value of b? I'll give you a hint. We're dealing with a trinomial. So what will be the value of b? -6. Okay. So to fill in this blank here, this first blank, we say the value of b, which is -6, divided by 2 squared. So what is -6 divided by 2? -3. So this is -3. Then we square it, right? So what's -3 squared? 9. So in that first blank should be the number 9. However, be careful with this. Pay attention, everybody. Ultimately, we're dealing with an equation. So if I add 9 to one side of the equation, then I got to add 9 on the other side. So I'm going to say plus 9 here. Okay, let's repeat the process. Now what I'm going to do to fill in the second blank, we take the value of b and divide it by 2. So what's the value of b here? -12. So you do -12 divided by 2. What is negative 12 divided by 2? Negative 6. So this is now negative 6 raised to the second power, which is 36. But remember, when I insert the plus 36 here, then I also got to add 36 to the other side of my equation. All right, so let's write this out. What we have is on the left-hand side of the equation, x squared minus 6x plus 9 plus y squared minus 12y plus 36 is equal to 4 plus 9 plus 36. So what's 4 plus 9? 13. 13 plus 36? 49. Very good. All right. To finish off the completing the square, this will ultimately give us our standard form. What I need to do is factor both of the parentheses. Rewrite x squared minus 6x plus 9 in factor form. Rewrite y squared minus 12y plus 36 also in factor form. Well, how is that done? For the x squared minus 6x plus 9, you first got to think about two values that when you multiply them, that gives you positive 9, that adds up to negative 6. So what are two numbers when you multiply them that gives you positive 9 that adds up to negative 6? Negative 3 and negative 3. How do you know automatically it's the negative 3? Well, you did the completing the square earlier. If you look right above in the purple, when you did the negative 6 divided by 2, what was negative 6 divided by 2? Negative 3. And if you notice, the negative 3 is being squared. So that means that it's negative 3 times negative 3. So for this first piece, it's going to be x minus 3 squared plus, all right, y squared minus 12y plus 36. What are two numbers when you multiply them that gives you positive 36 that adds up to negative 12? That adds up to negative 12. Negative 6. How did you get negative 6? Well, if you know your factoring techniques well, then that's one reasoning. But the second reasoning, if you look at the blue or green, greenish color, when we did the negative 12 divided by 2, the two factors that would give us the perfect square trinomial there is when the two factors must be negative 6 times negative 6. So we get y minus 6 squared is equal to 49. And here, everyone, is your equation of the circle in standard form. So the first part is done. The second part of this problem is to identify the center and the radius. So again, the equation of the circle is always defined as x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, which is equal to r squared. So the good news is that if you look at our equation in standard form now, it's aligned with appropriately with for the values of h and k. So what is my center point? Would anybody like to tell me what's my center? What's my, yeah? 3, 6. Right, so your center is 3, 6. And my radius is 7. How did I get that? Well, that's right. R squared is equal to 49. So this would imply that R must be equal to 7 by taking the square root on both sides. So look, the second part of the problem is done. We got the center, we got our radius. The only thing left is to make a quick sketch. So let's write out our quick sketch. Oh, sorry. Why is it not writing now? There we go. All right, so here's my y-axis. Here's my x-axis. Now, please note that when I draw my circle here, my circle's not being drawn to scale, so I might not get a very nice circle. So, here's how this works. First, you plot the center. So the center was defined as 3, 6, which is an order pair in the first quadrant. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here's your center point. The center point, I put it in red. Now you can use the radius as a guide to get some additional points, which will namely be on the circle. Well, how's that done? Well, since the radius r is 7, by the definition, the radius is the distance between the center to any point on the circle. So if I go since the radius is 7, if I go 7 units up, 7 units down, 7 units to the right, and then 7 units to the left, you get 4 points that are essentially on the circle. All right. So if I went 7 units up from our center point, what would be our new coordinates? If my coordinates is currently 3, 6 for the center, if I went 7 units up, what would be my new coordinates? Yeah, 3, 13. So this order pair will be 3, 13. I'm not labeling the points, by the way, only because if I plot it, it's going to look a little messy. All right. Now, starting back again with the center, the point in red, if I went 7 units down, right, what will be the y value? The x value didn't change, but what will be the y value? -1. So you get 3, -1. All right. Now you go 7 units to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What will be this new x value? 10. Did the y value change? Nope, the y value didn't change because you're just essentially shifting that center 7 units to the right, and then you do it 7 units to the left. So starting again with x equals 3, if I went 7 units to the left, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What will be this y value? I mean, this x value, sorry. -4. So we get -4, 6. Now, again, this was kind of off a little bit. So when I connect these 4 points now using a circle, or try to look like a circle, we'll get the following. But like I said, it's not going to... That one side came out... The two sides here came out pretty bad. But you guys get my point. Sorry about that. Yeah, I tried there. It's just I wasn't drawn to scale. All right. I'm going to stop the recording. Yeah?